brain.
Brain. Red, the brain finder.
All right, here he is. Now, how many fantasy leagues are you in? Will you be in this year?
Well, again, Anthony, my partner who is, I'm sick. He's critically ill sick. He does like 200. I only do a scant like 35. So I'm
okay.
nothing like, well, that's still a lot. But by the way,
35 is
only 35.
It's still a number. 35. It's still a number. But let me tell you something. I heard you talking about what do you do? I solved the problem when you're talking about, well, you're rooting for some guys, rooting against others because there's too many things. No. All I do is this now. I never look at my opponent until literally the games are done Sunday night. That's it. After Sunday night football's over, then I'll look at see how I'm doing. I will not look at. So if I'm going in
your own teams, the construction.
Only my own teams. Yeah, and that way, if I'm going against Jalen Hurts, I'll find out that night when the game's over and done with, and I can't be aggravated. Smart. It's a great strategy. I used to do it the way you did it, and it would anger me, and I'd get, just like you said, I'd get, oh my God, it's overload. Like, what am I going to do here? Oh, I'm going against this guy. I'm going against that guy. I'm rooting for this. No. But when you just don't even look until the games are done, you know who you're rooting for. That never changes. You're right. You always have your team. You know who you have on your players. But then when you don't have to root against anyone. You can just enjoy the games. And then when the game's over, it's like, all right, what can I do?
So
you can't argue it. It works. Trust me.
Listen, it's brilliant. It's why we come to you. It's absolutely brilliant. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
What is what's the average entry fee to one of your leagues? Because you play in a different
Probably I do anywhere from the lowest I do is 1,500. The highest is 10,000.
The lowest,
actually, the highest I do is 1500, 15. Actually, 13,000. 13. No, actually, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I take that back. I do a $13,000 league, and I'm in partners with other people where we play for one Bitcoin. So that's now about 60,000. So actually, but I'm that's the entry fee, one Bitcoin. So, but I'm a third entry in that. So I guess that's around 20. I'm a third of that.
Hold on. Please,
we need to process a bunch of information.
I got to pay for Carson's golf lessons, Anthony.
You're in a league. You're in a fantasy football league that plays for a Bitcoin.
That's the entry fee is a Bitcoin.
That's the entrance.
And what about you? What's determined? The price of the Bitcoin at the time of entry?
Correct. Yeah, correct.
So you're looking.
So it's going to be like 60 grand right now. Yeah. It just changes. It fluctuates. Last year the Bitcoin was less. This year it's now more.
So have you? How did you do in the Bitcoin league?
Came in second last year.
What's the prize?
I'm going to tell you something. Last year it was about 30-some thousand, and I basically made about 4x or close to 4x my money. But here's the thing, maybe it was 3.5x, something like that. But here's the thing, I'll never forget that. Do you remember when I don't know if you remember the game, the Monday night game between the Ravens and the whatchamacallit, the 49ers, where Brock Purdy threw like 5 interceptions?
Yes.
The reason I didn't win, I had Brock Purdy. My opponent had Christian McCaffrey. I was up by like 23 points, and Purdy was supposed to outscore McCaffrey. Like McCaffrey scored like 24. Purdy had -1.5, and I lost.
Oh,
that's
God.
That actually put me in a foul mood. I usually try not to complain. I complained a lot.
That's a bad beat.
Yeah, because Purdy had his worst game.
But that's a bad beat.
Yeah, I know. But listen, I still won 2 Bitcoins. But anyway, no. But then I have another piece of advice. You talk about like the DFS, Anthony. I agree with you. Listen, people do their scratch off lotteries. They go to the Wawa or the 7-Eleven. They have the computer generate their numbers. And it's always, by the way, when you're doing the lottery, you're always getting a bad, mathematical payout. Like if they're supposed to pay you 1,000 to 1, they're paying you 500 to 1. Well, at least if you do the DraftKings or the FanDuel or whatever, first of all, they give you a much better payout. And second of all, you at least get to pick. Like you could do a $2 entry to try to win $1 million. At least you get to pick the players. At least you actually have some say on it, as opposed to just having a computer generate something completely random. I actually have nothing. I think fantasy, the DFS is very fun. And again, if you're looking to have that crazy...
Do the DFS too? Like, do you have your leagues?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. I did very well last year.
On a given Sunday, so week 1, let's just go to week 1. how many pure lineups, including
Oh, no.
DFS and your leagues?
Well, it's so funny, Anthony. With the DFS, I went through a 6 stage where because I have all these algorithms, and I was doing like 300 lineups a thing, and I was just taking up so much time, and it was profitable. It was just so much of my time and bandwidth that I just couldn't. I couldn't
You
do
had
it anymore.
300
So now,
lineups?
yeah, I was doing. Now I only do. I pick my best lineup, and I enter it, and all my stuff. I'm like, hopefully it just wins, and I go in big
So you
contests.
only enter one lineup.
I only do now. I only do one. Now I only do one.
That's smart. That's smart. That's interesting.
Well, whether it's, but I used to do a ton, and because what I would basically, and it's funny, I probably would have done. I told myself, in like I think it was like 2017, me and my partner, we won the FanDuel Grand Prize Championship for DFS, and we won like the $1 million prize. It was amazing. But I told myself I wanted to do this. I got this algorithm where instead of I was doing all the $20 entries, and one person wins $1 million each week. When I was doing the 300 entries, Anthony, in 4 different weeks, this is out of like 1 million players a week, I had 4 times I came in the top 25. And if I kept doing it, I think I could have won that million again. I really do. Because what it was doing was I was getting every combination. What I mean by that is, let's suppose you're just taking guys you normally wouldn't take. I was doing anything with all different stacks, like of every game. So if there was a random game of 2 teams you wouldn't think would score, but randomly, let's just say a bad quarterback threw for 5 touchdowns. Remember Nick Foles when he threw 6 touchdowns against the Raiders that day? Like, you wouldn't have thought Nick Foles was right. Like I had like Nick Foles that day, like stacked, and just I never would have done it if I wasn't doing 300 lineups, right? But it gives you a chance to get every possible scenario where you have to win doing stacks in these things because everything's correlated. If you're taking Jalen Hurts, it means AJ Brown's probably having a good game potentially, right? Or if Jalen Hurts goes for 5 touchdowns, that's a good chance. You want to correlate it.
Your receiver and
exactly. You want to correlate it, and then you could do what's called running it back. Let's suppose if Josh Allen throws for 4 touchdowns and Diggs had 2 of them, well, maybe if they score 38 points, the team they're playing is going to have every pass, right?
Right.
They're probably going to have to throw the ball, so you run it back with the other opponent's receiver. It's just all strategy correlation over millions of simulations, and that's the way to do it.
How bad?
Yeah, I know. I'm not trying to bore
my
you
eyes
guys.
are glossing over with him.
You can blow up somebody's brain. It's awesome, man. I freaking love it.
All math, brother.
I was telling him that your mind and all your because you have all these fantasy lineups, and then God only knows how many bets you would have, and then how many season bet. Like it's almost a beautiful mind.
Well,
like,
it's funny. Like when I go to bed at night, Anthony, like some people are dreaming of like I don't even know what they're dreaming of. I'm always like thinking of my bets, my fantasy lineups, that's just the way my brain goes. Not that it's good, not that it's bad, but I don't know. What did you think of that? By the way, the hockey game last night. I thought I had a feeling it was gonna be like a 2-1 Florida game. I thought it was gonna get
totally. You said it would be a low 2-1.
Yeah, I thought it would be like a 2-1 Florida. But I was rooting for Edmonton. I really was. I felt bad they couldn't quite get it done, but it was a 50-50 game, and Florida just they got it done. But kudos to them. It's such a hard trophy to win.
It is. It is the randomness. Like it's just too hard. And
it's so hard.
That's why with baseball.
So hard.
I was starting the show off today. Like the Phillies win again. I had a buddy of mine, and last night he's like, I got a bad feeling that the Phillies are going to be like the Braves of last year. I'm like, dude, you can't think of like that. Listen, baseball's baseball. You got the best team in with the Dodgers and the Yankees, right? You have this epic Phillies team. You just got to enjoy it and don't think 100%. About October.
Yeah, exactly. And the bottom line is, look, I don't care if you go 162-0. Okay, obviously no one is, but once the baseball playoffs, it is random, and there is going to be a sense of who wins the close games. It is it's just the way it's the nature of the sport. Unfortunately, again, the worst team in baseball, the Miami Marlins. Didn't they beat the Phillies in the series? Or am I misremembering? The Rockies did. Someone who was horrible beat the Phillies 2 out of 3, and the Rockies are going to win like 57 games. That would again in football, an 0-16 team or 0-17 team is not going to beat a Philadelphia Eagles team of 2 years ago when they were 13-3 playing in the Super Bowl. That would never happen. But in baseball, it can. It's just again you can't drive yourself nuts worrying, oh my God, we're going to be the Braves.
Yeah.
It's just, listen, hopefully not, but you can't do anything. It's just the way the cookie's going to crumble.
All right. At Brad's Best Bets on Twitter X. Brad'sBestBets.com is how you reach my man. Yesterday you were 2-1. You had Reagan's, who was awesome. You had the Royals -1.5. And then
it's funny.
The shocker was Lance Lynn.
Well, it's interesting. You could ask Andrew. I texted because I actually initially had the Phillies in the 5-inning line -0.5 instead of Lance Lynn, and I go scratch that. I go, and which would have won. I go let's switch it to Lance Lynn, but man, I don't know. Stick with your first instincts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, next time, give me his first picks.
Right. I'm sorry.
He rethinks it.
Look, Lynn pitched. Look, Lynn pitched a good game. Pitched a good game.
Yeah.
It happens. But look, today it's funny, Anthony. I got a couple more things today. Look, we're going to stick with the Phillies game. Anthony, look, sometimes you just don't have to. You know the old saying off the adage, "See the ball, hit the ball." Sometimes gambling to me is like that. It's like you can go through and try to analyze things and overanalyze them, but sometimes it's kind of right there. When I see the total in the Phillies-Tigers game today, it was 7.5 under 117 on the Park site. I think that's an under. I have the two leading candidates to win the Cy Young. Literally, they are the two favorites right now. I made this total 7, and again, 7 is the most prevalent number in baseball. Okay, obviously because 1-run games and 4-3, 5-2. It is the most prevalent game that number lands on is 7. I thought the number should be 7. 7.5 is worth that extra half run. Is worth a ton. I like under 7.5 runs with these two pitchers going. I actually bet on the overnight line. I bet under. I like this bet even more, but it's not available anymore. But I bet under 4.5 runs on the 5-inning line, which was a joke. I just thought that was ridiculous. 4.5 on the 5-inning line.
You got 2 great starters.
Yeah,
it's got that 1-0 after 5 written.
Yeah. Now again, this is a kind of game again when the bullpens get involved, it could turn ugly. But I don't see the 4.5 out there anymore, but unfortunately. But I still like under 7.5 runs, Anthony, in the 5-inning line. I'll give you another one. Look, we took Cole Reagans yesterday, right? Laying a 1.5 against the hapless Miami team. I'm going to do it again. Seth Lugo's actually even been better than Cole Reagan. Seth Lugo, in 13 of his 16 starts, Anthony, has allowed 0, 1, or 2 runs. He has a 2.4 ERA. He's going against Yonny Chirinos, who's, listen to this, his last 27 innings, the guy's allowed 42 hits. I think in my last 27 innings, I only allowed 40 hits. He's even worse than me. That is a bad ratio. To allow 1.5 hits per inning is more or less unprecedented. You will not. You can look through every single major league pitcher. I don't think you'll find someone who's been that bad giving up that many hits per inning. So I do think the Royals will score the runs I talk about. For me to lay a 1.5, Anthony, I got to feel confident I'm scoring 6+ runs, and I got to feel confident I can hold them to two or less because so many games do land on 1. So I laid that, and you could get, I think on the Park side, I think it was plus 102. I think you're actually getting a price, Anthony, right now on that. And then this one's more of a legacy bet. It's only 8-7 this year, and his K rate is way down, but it's 51-27 his last 3 years, and he's going against the 4th easiest team to strike out. I wouldn't have done it if the matchup wasn't good. Kevin Gausman, Toronto Blue Jays, over 5.5 strikeouts. Again, only 8-7 this year, but with an abundantly even easy matchup against a team that strikes out in Boston. Again, legacy-wise, this is incredible. It's won 65% the last 3 years because it's a good matchup, and it was only laying 103 juice. That was the other key, Anthony. Minus 103. I thought it was worth the bet.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Hey, watch out. The only thing that scares me about big picture with Major League Baseball, the Braves getting Scherzer. Did you see Scherzer came back? And
he's out, but I'm gonna fight. I'm gonna arm wrestle with you here, and I'll tell you why. Why? No, I'm serious. Why is Texas going to trade him? Why?
Well, there was a talk about a fire sale there.
They're 500, dude. This is like the Kyle Tucker. I mean, this is not the Kyle Tucker thing because he's 40 years old, Scherzer. But they're what are they? How many games out of the playoffs are they?
I just read a whole thing. Jeff Passan talking about that they're going to have a fire sale.
Again, they won the World Series. I don't
know what the Texas Rangers' long-term thinking is.
Right.
I'm just looking at if they're having if they have a fire sale.
Right.
Scherzer would be the guy that you would mortgage because you're going to get a high price for him.
I got to tell you something, Anthony, which is interesting. I think the Braves are struggling more offensively than they are pitching wise. Do you know what's interesting? I looked up today. They're only
losing
15th in the run.
is a big deal.
They're only 15th in runs scored. Think about that. They were first by a zillion miles last year. 15th in runs scored. Now they lose Acuna. I actually think they need more hitting than pitching. Morton's still been good for them.
Well,
Lopez,
I don't like Morton.
He's so a solid vet. He's not Joe Blanton. He's not Lance Lynn. He's still above average.
3-4.
Okay, but fine. Ronaldo Lopez has a 1-something ERA. Chris Sale's been dominant.
Listen,
Max Fried. And what about Sale? Sale's. Let's look at Sale. Sale's been the second best starter in the National League.
Here's the thing about their lineup: Laureano, Kalenic.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Duval's 1,000.
He stinks.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So if they got Scherzer, of course it would help.
No, I'm just talking about in general. That's what Atlanta's going to want to do. They're going to try to go after maybe another bat, maybe a big name starter to come at you. Because right now, what? If you look at their rotation, you got Sale. You trust
great.
Lopez as a.
I mean, look. I can't say that I trust him. You know what he is? I'll tell you exactly what he is. If you're being fair about it, it's like, do you trust Ranger Suarez? They're guys that are kind of. Wait.
Listen, we're out of time.
Okay, all right.
We'll argue.
I'm actually going to be. I'm going to see. Are you going to be there later? I'm going to be in. I got to pick up.
I have a meeting today. I'm not going to be. I'm so upset because your son told us.
Yeah.
About that you were coming. I was like so excited too. I was hoping you were coming early to do the segment in person.
Oh, that would have been great. One of these days, man. One of these days, I would love to do it with all three of you guys.
Because I love talking sports with you. Forget about the gambling stuff. Your sports stuff is great.
I love it, man.
You're the best, buddy.
All right, well, listen. Good luck, man. I will see you. Oh, wait, is tomorrow? Anthony, you know what? I will not be on tomorrow. I'm going to Oregon to play golf. So I will not be, but I will be. I know, but that's all right. Don't bust my balls too bad here. I'll be back Thursday and Friday. I'll be waking up at the crack of dawn to be on your show.
I love it, dude. That's fantastic. We love you, buddy.
All right.
And by the way, Carson said something good today.
Oh, whoa.
Versace.
Pigs are now flying. What do you say?
What did he say? He said something. We gave him a point.
We did give him a point. What was it, Versace?
We gave him a point.
He'll get a -2 before the end of the day. I'm not worried.
Aaron Nola, the better brother.
Yeah, he said we got the better brother. We were talking about how we have the bad brother, and Versace said, look, we got the better brother with the Nola family.
Yeah, the catcher.
What's point?
Yeah, wait, what's the other cat? What's the catcher's name again? Nola?
Austin Nola.
Yeah, Austin. Is he even still playing?
I don't know. I haven't seen him in a while.
Versace needs to work on his push-ups, Brad. He did 50 push-ups in here yesterday.
Listen, it was a great effort. We had him do 50 push-ups.
Did it?
Like, I would only give him credit for like 27 of them, but he did a nice effort.
In my prime, the most I got in a row was 86 in a row. That was when I was in good shape. In good shape.
That's good.
Back in the day.
I like it.
19 years old, you got to do 50 clean. Come on.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because I think Mia, could you do 50? Mia could do it. You're close. My niece Mia.
She could.
We have dueling interns. My niece and your son.
I'll take me over Carson doing the push-ups. Laying -3.5.
Oh man.
You're the best, brother. Love you,
Take
man.
care. I'll see you. Be good.
See you, pal. The brain.
We all silly like the mayor.